my Kako, Pikachu, Shelby, been here live. We're going to take your coin in your account. We had our Skull Adventures Day in the Kapuna Council. You guys all seen it live on the news. Yes, we put out a skull in a Ziploc bag. And now we're here at Eva Makai Middle School with the listingtour.org. I'm not alone. We're talking to Peter Salvio. On the stage now, we got Rep. Chris Moroka, Joe Gideon replacing Gene Ward, Garner Shimizu, Julie Reyes-Oda, Elisha Perrick, David Alcos, Diamond Garcia, Lauren Matsumoto.
Oh my God, aloha!
Aloha!
Thank you all for being here this evening. I'm Representative Diamond Garcia. I represent District 42, which is Kapolei, Kapolei, and Eva villages, Corona Village, and the Renton Road area of Eva. It's an honor to see you all here this evening. Thank you so much for coming. This is our listening tour, so we're here to listen to you guys. I want to hear from you, and our caucus package this coming session is going to be built off of the answers that you folks give us. Because as elected representatives, we represent the people. So you're going to help us craft that caucus package tonight. But I also want to introduce our fellow other Eva Beach representatives. I'll turn it over now to the rep of District 41, Rep. David Alcos.
I'm so glad for all you guys to come out and listen to. This is the second year that we did this. We don't do this. This is the first time in our district right here that a lot of our legislatures come out here and listen to you guys and want to hear and draft up bills. And we draft up bills in January, and we want to make sure that we support our community, our families. And I just want to say thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Elijah.
My name is Elijah Barrick. I serve Royal Kunia, Village Park, west side of Waikele, Ho'opili, and Honolulu.
The fires.
Julie Reyes-Oda. I represent District 40, which is Eva Beach, and it is the east side of Fort Weaver, so the side towards Pearl Harbor, or the west lot.
East of McDonald's.
All right. Well, before the rest of our, you know what? Let's introduce the rest of our caucus and we'll do the prayer.
All right, hello everyone. Representative Garner Shimizu, District 32, which is roughly from Fort Shafter to Pearl Ridge area. So I'm glad that you're all here. Thank you. Hello, Representative Joe Gideon,
Hawaii
District 18, which is Hawaii Kai, Club Valley and Portlock. Thank you everybody for coming out today. We're looking forward to hearing the issues that are most important to you.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out. My name is Representative Moroka. I have the honor and privilege
What's that, baby?
Waianae Honka'a.
And aloha, my name is Lauren Matsumoto, and I represent Bililani and Bililani Banka.
Shatters on Tuesday.
If you could, we want to begin this program this evening with prayers. Just bow your heads with me as we pray. Holy God, Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this evening. We ask for your presence to be here with us to guide our discussions this evening so that all that is said and done may benefit the people of Hawaii, to make Hawaii affordable for local families and a place where locals can thrive. We ask for your presence here with us in Jesus' name. Amen. And before we begin, I do want to recognize a few people in the room. We got Senator Samantha DeCourt here from the Hawaiian Coast. And I did see in the back there affordable housing developer Peter Savio in the back here. Peter Savio was playing a pivotal role with Verona Villages. So stay tuned because the Verona will be transformed soon. Thank you very much.
Guess who did the introduction to Peter Savio?
All right, and I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Racine Tintele. I have the honor of being your moderator for this evening. I work with HMIR, which is our House Minority Research Team. And speaking of research, Rep. Garcia had alluded to it earlier, but we are actually actively gathering data that's going to help supply substantiate basically the bills that we will draft for the upcoming legislative session. So if you look to your left over here, we have our research team that's taking in all of the answers, the comments, the feedback, especially the interactive component, which I'm going to explain very shortly. So everything here is data. Your voices, your opinions, it absolutely matters. So we encourage high volume of participation tonight. Don't be afraid, raise your hands, get involved. And one of the greatest things about tonight that's going to help drive the interaction is what's called our interactive survey. And it's going to be on Mentimeter. So if you guys all have your smart devices, I want you to keep it out. A lot of us always have it kind of placed on the table anyway. But you're going to be actively using your phones and your smart devices tonight because, again, your data, or the answers that you supply, is going to be data that our research team will use to draft our 2026 Republican caucus bill package. So I want to give you a little bit more information. First of all, I don't think we acknowledged, if we have anyone from Eva Mackay Middle School, mahalo for allowing us to be in this space. Yes, let's please give them a hand. Thank you so much for hosting. We love our schools that have been so wonderful hosting the listening tour throughout the week. So without further ado, take a look at this video and it'll give you a little bit more information on what Mentimeter is all about. Aloha everyone, thank you so much for coming to the 2025 listening tour. We will begin shortly, but before we start, there's something very unique for those of us here tonight. It's designed to make sure that you are heard. There's an interactive survey, open only to those in the room. It provides us with data that reveals what you want to talk about tonight. It's so easy, even a kid can do it.
Oh, hey everyone, it's me. Hey, let me show you how easy it is. Follow these steps. Scan the QR code on your screen with your smartphone like this. The camera will find it.
A prompt will say, open in your browser.
See that?
Tap the button and it'll take you to our interactive survey.
Now, choose your top concern. You will only be able to choose one.
I know, right? There's so many to choose from. Don't stress, there'll be plenty of opportunities to discuss other concerns tonight. Remember, this first survey helps us know the temperature in the room.
Okay.
Now, it's possible that we won't get to your concern tonight. However, we will be contacting you to follow up on the things that matter to you.
Yay!
Not to mention afterwards, all of the reps are here to listen directly to you too.
Hello? Are you listening to me?
So scan the QR code on the screen right now. We also have our staff circulating to help you out. Come on, even a kid can do it.
Hey, you in the back. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Scan the QR code and let's get going.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Did you get started? Scan that QR code.
Come on, people. Cha-cha.
All right, it looks like we're about to get started.
We're flipping the script, starting now. Oh, hello, underneath.
Hello, underneath. All right, okay, so as you can see on the screen, the QR code is up. Get your smartphones out and we can start scanning. Our staff is here and they're gonna help you with any tech issues that you might have. Apparently it's so easy, a kid can do it, but I don't know, a kid can be really smart these days and they be doing all kinds of stuff that we can't do. So if you need help, just raise your hand. Everyone in the lanyard has the QR code on their necks as well. So everybody's looking at me, so maybe you guys are all set, yeah? Everybody makau for tonight?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to hear it. Okay, so once you see that green arrow on your phone, that means you're all set to go. Don't touch anything, sit tight. Your phone will automatically refresh with every question that's coming up. So while we get everyone connected to the QR code, I want to remind us to stay connected to everything happening in the caucus. We have some information if you want to take a peek at the screen. More information on the website, HawaiiHouseGOP.com is our, and there on the website you find the frequently published Republican Report, our weekly radio show, The Right Side, which airs every weekday from 4 to 5 p.m. Yep, everyone having a chance? Are we all set? It looks like we're good to go right on. Okay. So let's get started already. The first question is going to be a fun one. You have 2 free hours on a Saturday. How are you spending it? Beach, shopping, napping, binging TV, playing, watching sports, playing and watching sports at the same time.
Doing paperwork.
Or just one of each, right? Okay, so as you can see, this is showing how interactive tonight is going to be. Every response will populate onto the survey, and you can see in real time where your response is going, what's the temperature in the room. 35% of us are spending our time at the beach on a Saturday, beautiful, wonderful. I made a joke last night, it takes 2 hours just to get my kids ready for the beach. So 2 hours really isn't much of a beach time for me, but right on for you guys who don't have kids like me. So 2 hours, 35% of us are spending it at the beach. Wonderful. So that cut and dry, that's what we're gonna do tonight. So make sure you have your phones out handy. And while we are about to move on in the program, I want us to take a peek at this next slide. These are our friendly reminders for tonight. This is what you can expect on the evening. We're going to
It's barely
aloha
100%.
up, aloha mic. So you give aloha, you can get aloha back. So please have cordiality, be polite. Please keep your responses to no more than 60 seconds because we want to make sure that every voice is heard. If you'd like to make a comment, just simply raise your hand. Our staff is going to come to you. They'll hold the microphone to avoid any technical difficulties and just flag them down. They'll be right there. I'll make eye contact with them and they'll come directly to you. If you're not comfortable making a comment on the mic, no problem. We have these little yellow slips of paper. Write down your comments, questions, your mana'o, whatever you have. We're going to collect this at the end of the evening on your way out. So even if you don't, if that's not your personality, your opinion still matters. So by all means, please fill that out for us and we'll collect it later. As mentioned, our interactive survey is going to really drive the direction of tonight's conversations. So you all will determine the topics that we discuss tonight. So without further ado, we're going to get going. The first thing we want to do is find out what you want to talk about tonight. The first topic.
Homelessness.
We're going to look at the first question and we're going to choose one of these top issues. Please let us know what's the first thing we want to talk about tonight. I know the print is a little bit small, but we have agriculture, cost of living, crime, public safety, jobs, economy,
Here's their
etc.
weird stats.
You can see how your vote is being added into the survey. It'll populate as we go, 36% of us, 43.
Cost of living.
So there's about 54
Crime, public safety,
participants on the survey tonight, which is excellent. That's an excellent number. That's substantial data that we see. Nearly 35% of us want to talk about
Native
cost of
Hawaiian
living first.
airfares and traffic.
That's great. So the way that we're going to format tonight is we'll be peppering in comments from the audience. So we'll go to a question here on your phone, and then we're going to go to comments for you folks in the audience, and we'll go back and forth. If you have a question for the reps, I'm here to moderate that and make sure that your questions are answered. And again, if you don't get to talk about what you want to tonight, we're going to have a special time at the end of the program for you to meet with all of the reps, talk story with them, make sure that you have that interface. And they'll be hanging around after the event for you. So I think we're locked in with what we want to talk about first. 33% of us want to talk about the cost of living. And with a very close second place was crime and public safety at 28%. So we're going to go to cost of living as the first topic tonight. The follow-up question here is now it's going to be a multiple choice. So we're going to narrow in a little bit more on what to speak about regarding cost of living. Take a look at this question. How challenged are you to make ends meet in the following areas? This is a multiple choice rating question, 1 being not a concern to cover these costs, 5 being nearly impossible to cover these various costs. Child and dependent care, education, food, groceries, healthcare, housing, transportation, and utilities. So we'll see your answers very shortly. Already jumping with housing being the largest concern to meet the cost of living, healthcare, utilities,
Food, groceries.
right? So every single answer is counted. And on that note, while we take a look at that, is there anyone in the audience that'd like to make a comment on some of the results that we're seeing? Or maybe if the reps want to chime in on some of the results that we're seeing here on the screen?
Well, it looks like our top impacts to our cost of living, according to you guys, is housing is number 1, and then second, food and groceries. How many of you agree that Hawaii's housing market is way too inflated and not affordable for local families? Yeah, all of us. And that's because of bad policy throughout the decades, throughout the years. And our caucus is very much focused on trying to introduced legislation that will relieve the housing costs for local families. We've introduced bills such as establishing a local housing market. Rep. Matsumoto has passed legislation to the Olame program, and then also to allow you to save for a down payment without taxes, without that savings being taxed. So there's some things that have been passed, but a lot more needs to be done, and so we need your help to make sure that all that happens.
Thank you so much, Rep. Anybody from the audience want to weigh in? Okay, Kelly and John, would you mind raising your hands? Kelly and John, these are our mic staff. If you see them, please flag them down and they'll come directly to you. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Soya. You said to let us know how can we help. So I'm asking how can we help from our side to make our voices heard. So not only you guys hear it, but other senators and representatives can hear us too.
Sure. There was a bill introduced last session that would cut a G exemption for groceries that would save a family for almost $700. Hawaii is one of 13 states that taxes groceries, medical, and one of two that tax medical and services broadly. The best way to help, submit testimony. We need all the testimony we can get.
And I'll just add to that. We mentioned in the beginning that we have the HawaiiHouseGOP.com. If you go there, you can sign up for the Republican Report. And during session, every single week, we send an email out with some of the top bills that are moving through the legislature, because it's really difficult to stay on top of what's happening at the legislature. You know, bills have 48 hours notice before a hearing comes up, and it's very quick. So what we're doing is sending those emails out to help you stay on top of it. And the way you can help us, again, is through that testimony. We've seen very clearly when people come out in numbers and they testify, that's how things happen. And so often I hear, my voice doesn't matter. It truly does, and it really does make a difference when everybody gets involved. And we have a fun video on our website showing you step by step just how to testify, and it's a wonderful resource, so please use that, and we can use your help this next session. Thank you, Rep. So before we grab the 2 comments in the audience, we're going to throw up, we have 3 comments. Let's throw up another question. It's going to be multiple choice. What is the biggest challenge when it comes to covering your housing costs? And we're going to go to Kelly and then John. Go ahead, Kelly.
My concern is about insurance in the housing industry, and also the management, association management. They're getting pretty high up there as far as insurance, and also, basically HOA fees. And I went to the mainland a couple of months ago, and it doesn't seem like there's a huge difference in prices within the HOA fees. I don't know what's going on, especially with association management. I don't know why they're so high.
Thank you so much for the question. Representative.
Thank you for the question. So there's grassroots answers to that, there's policy answers to that. So the policy, we can introduce a bill. Let's say your HOA is horrible and we just don't want it anymore, introduce a bill to get rid of all HOAs. That bill didn't pass. How about let's introduce a government agency to police all the HOAs, so you can talk to your government so they can bring in those sometimes literally crazy board members on your HOA, and that bill didn't pass. There's the grassroots level. So in Royal Pineo, we had a board that a lot of our community members didn't like some of the board members. So I went door to door, not for me to get reelected, but to elect new board members for our HOA. Not my neighborhood, but Royal Pineo, one of the neighborhoods in District 39. And sure enough, we got new board members on there. Those new board members enacted the policies that they wanted for their community. So back to what he was saying about submitting testimony. Submit testimony on bills like, accountability for boards, to hope we get those bills to pass.
Thank you, Rep. Reyes-Goda.
About HOAs, I did introduce a bill about lowering the negligence level for homeowners to be able to sue board members. That's one. But I also want to make sure that for those of you guys who have HOAs, because I do, you have the ability, if you haven't looked through those huge stacks of things that they've sent you, right, especially the budget, ask specifically for them to break down what the monthly payment is paying for. Your maintenance fee is what I'm thinking you're asking, right, the large number. So for example, I live in Eva by Gentry, but a specific HOA, so I pay Eva by Gentry quarterly. I think it's like $185 or something, $200 around there. But I also pay my maintenance fee, which is $600 something to my association. And you're right, probably a large portion of it is insurance. Why? Because it has a master policy that's covering every single house. You do have the ability to take a vote and to be able to split that and say that every house has to cover their own. And that might look like it's good. The bad thing is if the neighbor next to you's house burns down and they didn't have insurance and they don't want to build back up, you're going to live next to a burnt down pile of rubble for years, could be a decade, because that person didn't build it. So the reason they do those master policies is to make sure that if something happens to somebody's house or the one next to you, because sometimes our houses are built so close that the fire in the next house will catch on yours, that the policy will cover everybody in that entire area. And mine is 600 something houses in my HOA. So with that, I'm going to ask you to ask them for the specific breakdown of it and then see what the issue is. But as far as for the management company, the decisions are made by your board. The management company are the ones who carry them out. So make sure that you refer, especially like policy decisions, why they do stuff, to the board of your HOA. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Soda. I know Rep. Garcia had a comment, and then we have two individuals patiently waiting, and then we can come back to you, Rep. All first. Okay. Okay, let's grab our two comments from the audience. Thank you for waiting.
Hi, my name is Shaila Elkos. On the board, it said that the second most important thing was food and groceries. So with Hawaii, we struggle already as it is for us to make ends meet with groceries, food. But in the summertime, how can we ensure that our kids don't have to worry about that when they go to school? For example, students, they get free lunch now in the summer. Incarcerated individuals get free lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner every day in jail. So how can we make sure that our kids in Hawaii get free lunch every single day, every day that they're in school? Not just in the summer when there's no school, but every single day. Not free lunch, reduced lunch. All kids should have free lunch in Hawaii.
Thank you for the question. Do you want to respond here? Representative, and then Rep. wants more. Thank you.
So what was passed this year wasn't a free lunch for everybody. What was passed was, if you can understand that school lunches for kids are in 3 tiers. One would be qualifying for free. The next one would be reduced. I believe lunch is 40 cents and breakfast is 30 cents around there. And then the other one is a full pay. So what they did was this year, for this school year that we're sitting in, they're making the ones who have reduced lunches have free lunch. So now the free and reduced have free lunch, and then the full fare is the full fare. Next school year, they're going to be moving that line up. So remember, there's a line as to who qualifies for free and who qualifies for reduced. What they're doing is that moving that line so that it's a 300% of the federal poverty line. That will cover more people under the free, and then they'll still be the full fare. So the question is about school lunches. I think if everybody hasn't known, during summertime, a bunch of the schools are still giving out breakfast and lunches if you came in a certain time period of the day and the kid ate the food here. I know that for some people, the issue at the time, probably you're working. The issue may be that you can't get your kid to the school for no reason, just to eat multiple times a day. The food bank also did call for keiki, where in Eva, they were doing it at Eva 360 at the end. Every Monday that was there, I attended, and we passed out. I can tell you that 2,000 kids signed up for Eva Beach as a pickup. They only took a little over than 1,600 kids, which was about 600 families, and they had to turn down a quarter of the kids who applied. That said to me that there's a lot of people in Eva Beach who's not known. Eva Beach is not known to be a poverty area, but that's telling me that a bunch of kids need to eat. If you guys don't know, Iroquois Point was doing an after-school program where they were feeding the kids another meal after school. That isn't there this year because they have a new principal, a teaching principal, temporary, sorry. So the food bank had talked to me, and I had actually contacted the Boys and Girls Club in Eva, as well as the Ilima Intermediate. So the reason that to do those is that the only time that the food bank can give food after school, non-perishable food to kids daily, is if the school is Title I, which means it has to be 50% or more. Campbell is 30%, but the surrounding schools, Ohana and Lima, are met the threshold. So I am personally working on that to make sure that the kids can get get lunches in there. I have met with both Ilima and Ilima and the Eva Boys and Girls Club. So I'm trying on those ends. Right now that would probably reach at max 300 kids that are about 150 each. They're signed up for programs after school. But you're right, we need more. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Oda. And while right before we get to this comment here, we're going to throw up another question. The question is multiple choice. When your budget is tight and you have to cut costs, which is the first non-essential thing to go? Go ahead and answer that question there, and thank you for waiting patiently.
Thank you. I'm Angie Martin, and I'm from Mililani. I have friends who are in townhouses, and their HOA was supposed to be upkeeping. And what happened was, when my friend was no longer the president of the board, they no longer went around every month. They didn't say, hey, this is a bad board, let's replace it now. This is a bad fence, let's replace it now. What happened was, they needed to renovate, and it cost them over $1 million for 76 townhouses. And then they wanted to charge them $1 million per sign. And these signs are wooden. So my advice is do not give your votes away. If you are voting for your townhouses to be taken care of, you show up. Do not give the vote over to management, because they will put the money in their pocket.
Thank you so much for the comment. Rep Montemuro and then Rep Marcos.
Thank you for sharing. And I think in addition to the HOAs, the underlying is also the insurance issues, right? Insurance has gone up, skyrocketed. In my area of Mililani, I had many constituents call their insurance went up 300%. And a lot of that was due to what happened in Lahaina and what's happening around the world. But I wanted to let you know that our caucus has put in legislation to address that issue. Tax credit for insurance companies that offer the insurance, that was HB 285 last year. And so this is something we're working on. We're very aware of this issue, and it's affecting people across our entire state. And luckily, we've been talking with a lot of the insurance companies and our state insurance officer, and it's looking like it should be on a much better trajectory going through. But again, because insurance is a global issue, it's something that we have suffered heavily here in Hawaii, and the legislature needs to step in. There's other states that have done wonderful things like Alabama, and we're taking note of what they've done so we can help alleviate some of those costs for people in our state.
Thank you so much.
I'll just pick up off what Lauren said about our insurance price gouging. 600%, I heard some insurance and homeowners came out and had to pay more for their housing, and that's way too much. Anything that increased that we have to pay 300% more or 600% more, we can understand that if we grow and pay a little more at a time, but not when we do it all one time. Then we got to figure out how we're going to get the 600% more income, especially if we are on set income. That is hard, and I think our governor should step in and put a cap on it, and we cannot raise insurance costs or any type of price gouging at a 300% rate in a year. Maybe we can understand that how we can fix our troubles and how we can work with it. And I think that we need more help from our state to help the families that is struggling paycheck to paycheck. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Alcos. And I want to draw our attention back to the question, when your budget is tight, what's the first non-essential to go? 50% of you are weighing in the eating out, right? A luxury, but yet that's unfortunately the first thing to go. The second place, 23% with vacation, which makes me so sad, 16% recreational leisure, but that's the reality of the situation. So thank you, reps, for weighing in. Thank you for your comments as well. We're gonna go on to the last question in our cost of living segment. So take a look at your phones. It should update automatically. If you still need help getting onto Menti, perhaps you just arrived, please flag your one of our staff members with a lanyard. They'll help you get connected so that you can participate in our interactive survey. The question is, what policy do you think would help the most to lower the cost of living? So all of these responses are the data that drives the drafting of our Republican bill package for the upcoming session. 50% of us are saying improving wages, and that's fluctuating with every vote that's coming in. About 16% 17 people are participating now, so we want to bump that up as much as possible. Nearly 30 people are participating, wonderful. 33% of us, 30%, improving wages is the policy that we need to focus on and lowering cost of living. Reps, do we want to comment on what we're seeing here on the screen?
Yeah, and not just improving wages, but job opportunities. You know, I mean, having more opportunities, having good paying jobs is essential. And unfortunately, Hawaii, I just met 2 days ago with the Hawaii Chamber of Commerce, and normally Hawaii fluctuates between 49th and 50th as far as the worst state in the nation to do business. We're ranked 50 this year. So we have a bad business climate. Nobody can really open up businesses. When they do, they struggle to make ends meet. And we have to fix that through good policies. And by doing so, we create more jobs in our community. Recently, there was a bill that passed 2 sessions ago, which was the largest tax decrease in Hawaii state history. It didn't go far enough, but it is some relief, but not too much relief. But we need to give relief to our local business owners, our entrepreneurs, our small businesses, because small businesses are the backbone of our community. In West Oahu, we have lots of families, young families moving in. We have to ensure that our community is a friendly place for small businesses.
Thank you, Rep. Garcia. I think we've had a lot of discussion on this topic, so we're going to move on to the next. And this is a great thing. We're going to talk more about the things that matter most to you. But don't worry, our reps, if we don't catch those things that are important, our reps are going to stick around after the event and you can talk story with them. So let's take another peek at our mentee. What issue do we want to talk about next? It's that same scope. We have all of the categories up, minus cost of living. So we'll narrow it down a little bit further. % of us are weighing in that crime and public safety is important. Rep Matsumoto, did you have some comments about our results?
I think what's been really interesting is as we've been going through this listening tour, so I don't know if we mentioned it at the beginning, we started in Mililani, we went to Moanalua, we went to Waianae, now we're here in Ewa, and cost of living came through as one of those top issues. So all of that information that you gave us is something that is so important because we're seeing that very clearly cost of living is the #1 issue across the island. And so thank you so much for helping us get that data.
Thank you, Rep Matsumoto. Rep Alcos, you had a comment as well.
On cost of living, I guess housing would be the biggest cost that we're going to pay our mortgage or our rent, and that comes out of our paycheck the most. And you know, there was some of the bills that we want to stop foreign investors from coming in and buying part of our land or our land stuff. But you know, how about taxing the foreign investors? We're putting a bill for 300%. We want to tax the foreign investors. That way we can help lower our local family taxes, or maybe bring in more. Like I was thinking about bringing in making Hawaii become the sports complex, like how we had the Pro Bowl, by bringing in professional players out here and bringing in more taxes from bringing in from the mainland, and then we can lower our taxes and get more money in our paycheck. But you know, that bill didn't really go through, and I can see that cost of living and housing is definitely our biggest cost that we want to do. So hopefully that we can continue passing some of those bills.
Thank you, Rep Alcos. And not to digress from the cost of living, but nearly 50% of you weighed in that crime and public safety is the next topic we're going to next. So we're going to narrow in a little bit on that. The following question is multiple choice. What public safety concerns worry you the most in the state, in your community? What are those top concerns for you regarding public safety? So let's see what the results bring in. Each of your phones should automatically refresh, so if you still need help getting connected, flag one of our staff members down and they can help you. 50% saying homelessness is the top public safety concern. Second place, looking at violent crime. Drug, substance abuse on the rise as well. Fourth place, traffic safety. That would include reckless driving, speeding, DUIs, and e-bike incidents. Okay, so a strong 36%. First place is homelessness as the top public safety concern, and that second place is 28%. Do we have any comments from the audience on what we're seeing? Yes, please. We'll have Kelly and John approach you. And if we can just be mindful to keep our comments at no more than a minute to make sure that everybody's heard. Okay, we have several. Please yourself. Thank you.
My name is Carl Dix, and I believe I probably emailed everybody on the stage, and I've only got one response from all of them. Homelessness is a cash flow system for the judicials in the state of Hawaii. And nobody seems concerned about it, nobody wants to fix it, nobody wants to address it, nobody wants to understand it. There's one man with a blue shirt on stage that did respond to me, he's the only one.
Thank you for your comments. We have one here, and then the gentleman in the white shirt.
I forgot to reverse the camera.
Thank you.
Hi, President Trump issued an emergency order to crack down on homelessness, even offering states funds to mitigate this issue. Is this something that your caucus is going to be collectively supporting, or how can we enforce that on the state side to make sure that an emergency order was issued on a federal level? We as the state have every right to go into these encampments, remove them and place them into a facility, and also receive funds for that. So is that possibly a solution that the caucus is looking into on how to take advantage of the federal emergency order to crack down on homelessness? Thank you for the question. Representative Garcia.
Thank you, Senator, for that. That's a good point. President Trump, I think it was last week, signed that EO on homelessness. What they're doing in DC right now is doable because that's a federal jurisdiction, it's a federal city, so they have total and complete control. In states, it's a little different. So yes, we're more than happy to work with the federal administration to ensure that homelessness is addressed. I did hear that they're looking at now going into various American cities, not to bring the military in and conquer and scare people, but to clean it up so that tax-paying citizens don't have to walk over needles and tents and human feces on sidewalks. Because if any of you have walked in town and just, even here in our own beaches, Pu'oloi, folks will find needles at the beaches. And so that stuff is unacceptable. And the reason why it's there is because government has allowed that to happen. Just this past session, they passed the bill, which we voted against, but they passed the bill which gave free needles to all drug users. If you want free needles to shoot up heroin and fentanyl and whatever, they'll hand you free needles. So the state legislature is moving in the opposite direction, but the House Republican caucus is standing firm to make sure that public safety is of utmost importance. So thank you for the point.
We're going to go here to John.
Gary Cordery.
Hello, Gary Cordery. I just want to ask the caucus, as a group, how do you elicit information to develop good policy? And then once that's completed, in unity, how do you move forward within the body at large to create bills that will serve the people? And finally, how do you actually reach the community at large with the information, what you're trying to do? And I heard about their website, but I've never heard it other than that. So are you thinking about this so that people can get behind you? And how can we as the public serve you as you try to implement good legislation for the people? But really, this all comes back to government reform. Every one of these is part of government reform. So I didn't hear the process. How do you work together? Is there unity? Do you guys sit around the table and say, let's deal with this and let's get it done? I just want to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give a little bit of insight into that. What is so unique is our caucus meets every single day during session. Not everybody does that. Every single day before we go to vote, we meet and we go over with our research team what are the different bills. Now, do we all vote the same way? No, because sometimes what affects Mililani might be different than what affects Hawaii, right? So that's one of the things, we don't all vote the same way. However, we all have the same information, we talk through it. Now, there's some times where we stand in complete unity as a team and stand against things, and we try to push information out. Unfortunately, the press doesn't always cover our caucus since we're the minority. However, we've been making a lot of changes, so that's why we have the Hawaii House GOP. That's why we have the Republican Report. We have our radio show, The Right Side, which is on every single day during the week to try and push that information out. And to get that information out to people, we can't just get your email addresses. You have to go and sign up. So it takes a little bit of responsibility on the part of those who want that information, but we are doing everything that we can on our end to push that information out, and we are very diligent when it comes to looking at every single bill and deciding if that's the best policy that we want for our state.
Thank you for the response, Rep. Matsumoto. We are going to go to another mentee question, and we're going to grab a couple of comments. So I'm going to read out the question to you while we listen to the comments from the audience. Who do you think should take the lead in addressing homelessness? We're going to narrow the scope a little bit. Who should be responsible for taking the lead in addressing homelessness? Multiple choice question. We're going to go to Kelly and then John in the back.
Hi, my name is Kara, and I'm the founder of the Radical Holly. We provide outreach with Aloha. The one thing that I am wanting one of you all to do is to really audit the programs that is receiving millions of our tax dollars.
Why not count?
I'm out there trying to get people off the streets, and there's just nowhere to go. They're either full, home is not receiving people because they have mental illness or drug addiction, and they flat out say no. The women and children IHS shelter has turned away my clients because they're difficult to handle. So I would love for one of you all to really take these programs seriously and audit them and see what they're doing and how many people they actually turn away when services like myself. By the way, I'm unfunded. I've been doing this for 5 years as a volunteer with 30 other people, and it's just not easy. And that's my frustration.
Thank you for the comment. Homelessness is very high on my list and weighs my heart that people are living like that, and government has somehow not been able to address that problem. I would love to get together with you and discuss what you're doing. I have introduced a bill this past session, and I intend to introduce another one. Been trying to talk to stakeholders to make sure that we address it from a well-rounded perspective, that we can coordinate efforts. But there is a lot to be done. We do need to audit, like you say, and make sure that the money that has been allotted is being spent properly. So thank you. We'd love to look at that and have conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rep. Shimizu. Okay, thank you for your patience in the back. We're going to get a comment from the audience.
Yeah, aloha. Just one statement about homelessness. A question for everyone. I was wanting to know if, like, incoming flights for people coming in here, buying a one-way ticket, whether it's from another state or just themselves to come here and they stay here, and are we trying to figure out some way to crack down on that for homelessness right there, getting people that just come here just because the weather's nice, which I get it. There's cold places in the mainland. I've been there, but that's something we need to crack down on also, I think. And I voted for the state government in the sense of that driving around, we have a lot of resources that we're not using, not utilizing. We have buildings in Kapolei that might have been used to be owned by the military, or there's empty, it's run down. Why are we not using these buildings, trying to spend the money to renovate some of these places that right over here in Kapolei that could be reused to put people in their homeless?
Great question, Brian. Thank you so much, and thanks for being here. Your first part about homeless coming into Hawaii from out of state, that is a reality, and I think all of us here know that other states and other cities across the country sometimes will buy one-way tickets for their homeless and their vagrants and send them to warmer climates like Florida or Hawaii. And many of the homeless we talk to on the street aren't even from Hawaii. Now, I'm a firm believer that we should do all we can to send them right back to where they came from, because our resources that our taxpayer dollars funds should be going towards Hawaii homeless, Hawaii's local families who are struggling. Back when Governor Linda Lingo was governor, she did exactly that. There was a program set up in DHS to send homeless back to the mainland. 2 years ago, we passed a bill, a pilot program, which set aside $300,000 to do that as well. Since then, they've sent back roughly around, I believe, 300 homeless back to their families. That's just a drop in the bucket. A bill came before all of us this session to make that pilot program permanent, and at the very end of the session, it died. So more needs to be done, and we need all of your support to rattle the cage to make sure that legislation is passed to send homeless who are not from Hawaii back to where they came from.
Thank you, Rep. Garcia. And we see that the results are very consistent with what we want to address in the room. That 64% say that the state government should be taking the lead. 24% say city and county government, 12% with the private sector, and no one weighing in actually on nonprofit or faith-based organizations. Rep. Alcos.
Right, thank you for that question. On our homeless side, some of the things that we've been doing at Oniola Beach Park, we had about $2 million when John Mizuno was going to build some homeless shelters for the homeless on our side, taking care of the local homeless. We had a home program that came out to F Beach, and the home program stays out there for three months. Out of that program, only 1% of the local families stay there. They bring in people from all over the island or from different hospitals and come and stay in our community. Our local people don't want to be governed and have rules and have a curfew time that they want to be in. So, but when I was working with Mizuno out here, we was trying to change that system and trying to figure out a way on helping the homeless. And we are also putting some more money in Kailai Loa homeless and working on that and getting that more guys into a house. So we are working on it, and it just takes some time. Thank you.
Referees, Oda.
While we were talking about homelessness, I just want to make sure we are state representatives. There is a program to send the homeless back to whatever state that they're at, but it's a city program, it's not a state program.
Thank you so much for the comment. Before we go to our audience, we're going to throw up the last question regarding crime and public safety. This will be the last question for this topic, and then we'll be moving on. Which approach should be the top priority to improve public safety? Which approach? And take your time answering that question, and we're going to get our comment from the audience. Thanks for waiting.
My name is Rebecca Pacquiao, and I live on Richmond Road. I live in a disabled and elderly community called the Thompson. We have a lot of problems with the chronics and the homeless right on Richmond Road. And my back of my building where I live is the bus stop, and a lot of it has to do with as one of you mentioned, that they don't want to have the curfews, but these are mostly chronics, not homeless families. And in my district, and Diamond, especially on Renton Road, the chronic situation is so bad and dangerous for the tenants and myself and the disabled. But I have witnessed, I'm always calling the cops. They refuse, because there are programs. They built those mini homes out in, they don't want to be told where to go, and it's also mental health issues. So, and that kind of factor, but it is a very big issue, and a lot of it, and I'm not saying about families that are homeless, these are the chronics and the mentally ill that are refusing help, and you can't really force them, so I just wanted to.
Thank you so much for that. And before we go to rep response, I just want to make an announcement that this is a smoke and vape-free facility, and our event this evening is completely smoke and vape-free. So I know you doing the cotton candy, you can smell that chaff from over here, so no, I'm just kidding. No, but for real though, please do not use any smoking devices here in the facility. Thank you so much. Do we have reps that want to respond to the comment? Rep Muraoka.
Hi, good evening. So in response to the chronics and substance abusers, unfortunately, there's programs out there that actually protect them. And then like this lady here said about she's not funded, but she's out there every day knocking on doors. Mr. Dix over there hit the nail on the head. Homelessness is a cash cow. My office, we're trying to find out a way where we can hold all of these nonprofits accountable and make their grants and federal fundings refundable based on performance, because there's no transparency in what they do. This is a state problem, and the state created it by lack of efficiency, lack of management, and we need to have that transparency. And once that transparency is there, the auditing will do itself, right? If we can find out where's the money going, what's the money used for. When we look into it, it's public knowledge. We're doing it right now in my office with some of the nonprofits that are trying to come out in Ohana. We look at some of the CEOs and the members of the board making $262,000 a year, driving around in a van in a tent, feeding out hot plates. Isn't that the dream job everybody would like? We need to hold those people accountable, and we need to hold the government accountable for giving money out.
Do we have another rep that would like to respond? Rep Shimizu.
Kind of related to that and holding people accountable. I see Patty Turi out there, and we had a conversation regarding Hawaiian homelands, and recently in the past couple of years they were awarded $600 million to house our Native Hawaiian population. And you know, it's government is a very complex organization. You know, we have departments that handle these different projects. So what we need to do also is hold departments accountable for the monies that they are allotted. You know, it's not only about raising taxes and increasing funding, but increasing efficiency and cutting waste. So that's a double-edged sword that I think we could do a better job on.
We have a couple of comments in the audience, but first I want to visit this last question relating to public safety and which approach would be the top priority. 57% of you said tougher penalties for repeat offenders. We've had a lot of robust discussion on crime and public safety, so we're actually going to switch into the next topic. And there is like a final segment, which is a catch-all. If you don't get to the topic or we don't discuss it, the reps will be able to have basically a Q&A session with you. If there are other things that you want to discuss in that time, you're certainly welcome to. We're going to continue to enforce that 60-second response and question section for both our audience members and our reps, so we're all playing nicely by the rules. And we're going to grab these two comments, and in the meantime, throw up our last question regarding, what do you want to talk about next? So we've shifted from crime and public safety. You guys are going to lead the direction of the next topic, and that's already going. We're going to have Kelly. We're going to go John and then Kelly. Thank you for waiting.
Hi, my name is Mel. I'm a constituent for Representative Alcos. Mine actually has to do with gun reform and its connection to mental health. With the recent school shooting that happened in Minneapolis, I did a little bit of research and discovered that several, if not all of you, had voted no back in March on meaningful gun legislation here in Hawaii. Thankfully, these measures did eventually pass, and we do have some of the safest gun regulation laws in the nation. But there has been a rise, about 84%, in gun violence here in Hawaii, and I wanted to know first, why did you vote no? And secondly, if the answer to that is mental health is the issue, then what do you have to say about the Medicaid cuts that fund the mental health programs that you apparently think is the answer?
Thank you for the question. We're going to go to Rep Morioka with the response, and then Rep Perry.
Thank you for your question. That's a great question. I can tell you why I voted no. That terrible, terrible incident that 2 children died. You know the one reason that more children didn't die is because a good person had a gun. The only way to fix a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. The guns don't kill people, poor habits and poor decisions kill people. That is why I voted.
Thank you for the question. We did vote no against the bill, and if you look at the bill, that was a very flawed bill, and that's why it wasn't just the Republicans voting no, it was a bunch of Democrats voting no too, especially people in rural districts who have lots of hunters and gatherers, because the bill would have affected them. Hawaii has some of the strictest gun laws in the nation, and all of these gun shootings, especially in West Oahu lately, 90% of all of these guns which are used are illegal firearms. So you can pass all the laws you want, criminals don't follow the law. So the only people you're impacting with stricter gun laws are law-abiding citizens. What we have to do is really be harsh. If you're possessing an illegal firearm, prosecute that person to the fullest extent of the law. To set an example, that illegal guns is not okay. So thank you for the question. As far as the Medicaid cuts, those cuts don't go into effect till 2027, and Hawaii and Alaska are specifically exempt from those. So thank you for your comment.
I just wanted to tag on to what Rep. Garcia has said. I don't think there's an instance in history where a registered, properly owned gun owner committed any of these shootings. And I did want to say that on our screen, everybody saw that we do need to hold people accountable. I know on the screen it said repeat offenders. I personally take that one step further, and we need to hold all offenders, whether it's your first time or your fifth time. If we hold you responsible and accountable at the very first time, even if it's just stealing a pack of bubble gum, maybe spending a night in juvie or whatever, might just help you understand, I don't want to be here. But the current system we have that keeps revolving door and saying, hey, that wasn't right, don't do it again, and let them go, we need to be more strict on that.
Thank you for the comments, Rex. Okay, we're going to go to two individuals in the comment. Okay,
Gary. I'll make it very quick, Gary. Thank you for the clarity. And I would like to hear from the people on the stage how you feel about the state of Hawaii importing 50,500 undocumented people into Hawaii and the strain that's putting on our society. Over 12% are currently homeless. I'd like to know if you have an opinion about that and how you're going to stand as legislators.
You got to control the
okay, let's take a couple of rep responses, if possible. Rep Perrican.
Thank you, Jared, for coming and thank you for your question. So, strong boundary between your neighbor and yourself, usually in a better relationship. If there's no boundaries, your neighbor can come to your house whenever you want, just take your sugar and use your couch. You're going to be like, whoa, I'd like some space. So boundaries are healthy. That looks like walls, and that can look like fences, and that can look like border protection and laws of how you come into the country. I totally support strong borders and strong regulation to get into our country. So when you mentioned that there's a whole bunch of undocumented or illegal people coming in, I would support that.
So you're right, Gary. About 50,000 people are here currently undocumented. Now, not all of them have crossed the border and come here. A portion of them have. Most of those, about 20,000 of those, are those who come here with visas, for work visas or visiting visas, and they just don't go back home. They overstay their visas. So that's a big bulk of the illegal immigration population here in Hawaii. And so I know that the federal government right now is very much looking into all of the visas out there. And ICE is here present, and they've been doing their thing. And you know, we stand ready to work with the federal government to ensure that that illegal immigrants aren't taking the resources from our Hawaii residents, because we need those resources for our struggling local families.
Thank you, Reps. We have quite a few comments waiting here in the audience, so we're going to take several of them at a time, and then we'll allow the reps to respond. We're going to go to John first. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Patty Teruya.
Aloha kako. Thank you, Representative Shimizu, for bringing this up. And it is probably housing/DHHL lands. And I just wanted to bring attention to Ewa Beach, because you are in West Oahu, one of the largest Native Hawaiian homesteads that you'll be having development. But you'll also have development, and I'm not sure if your community knows this, that you'll be having a commercial development of 19.634 acres coming into Ewa Beach. So my question is to Representative Perrick, Oda, and Garcia, which you covered as district, and are you makamala, do you know what's happening with that project that's coming forward in your district? Because I understand the community, they're not aware of it. The traffic impact will be devastating on Fort Beaver. It is 19 acres of the open property next to the Humane Society that used to be owned by the Roman Catholic Church, that now sold it to a developer who will be building all commercial sites there. Not housing for Native Hawaiians off the wait list, Gary, but commercial. And I'm glad Peter Savio is back there. So what it is, it's called an EVA land swap. The developer bought the land from the Roman Catholic Church in EVA. They're going to give it to DHHL. DHHL turns around and gives it back to the developer to build for a 65-year lease. Can you imagine that? Of commercial. Now, they have to come out to the community to get the community aware of the traffic impacts of Fort Weaver connecting to Ho'opili will be a major impact changes of EVA Beach. That should be major concerns. State of Hawaii, representatives, due diligence. So in your Hawaiian Affairs Committee coming on Ledge and your Hawaiian Caucus, you need to ask the department these important questions. Under the state of Hawaii, due diligence must happen for the community. Meaning all EA environmental assessments of property donated to the state should have an EA, so we know what's going on with the land. The land was sitting there for so long. You had trucks, you had a drone went by, and you had empty barrels there. We're not sure what empty barrels have been there since the Roman Catholic Church owned that property. And I can go on, and it is very concerning because EVA Beach, you will have Hawaiian homes here. Did you know that? One at the old tsunami, down at the Pulu, and here at Fort Weaver. But my concern is your district representatives in the Hawaiian Affairs Committee. These are so important questions that you have to hold the state and the departments accountable. They have to answer to you because you put their budget into movements. And if you don't know what's going on in your district, then I really feel so sorry for people who's going to be traveling back and home from EVA Beach on Fort Weaver, and you're going to see commercial, commercial, commercial. In closing, this proposal has nothing to do with housing or getting people off the wait list. It is a proposal for a developer to make money from land that no one wants to buy it because of the environmental issues.
Infrastructure.
When you're on Hawaiian homelands, developer has all waiver on permit process. So this makes it easier for developers to take advantage of what's in Hawaiian homes. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I did give some information, minutes and submittals to Representative Diamond Garcia. I pray and hope that next session you're more aggressive in asking the Department of Hawaiian Homeland. You're Republicans. Your president is a Republican. You need to get the Department of Defense, DOI, out here to audit the department.
Interior.
Check and balances need to be done. Take advantage. You got a Republican president. Use your power now. Clean up departments that need to be cleaned up. Mahalo, Louie.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments. And we actually have written down, as you were speaking, we wrote down all of the questions so that our reps can provide a response. We have a lot of folks that are waiting for comments. So reps, you guys can take a peek at the notes we provided based on your response. We're going to grab one more comment and then I'll throw it to the reps to respond. Go ahead, Kelly.
Aloha, mai kākou, everyone. Pikachu, Shelby, Billionaire Live. We're live streaming this on Facebook, Keikio Kalani. I know we're going to cut this, make it a minute or quick, but I want to say thank you all for coming out. We filmed you all yesterday in Waianae. You know, traffic sucks, horrible. That's pretty much number 3. I hate coming here. I'd catch the bus number 41 from Pokai Bay. And to address houselessness, a homeless person actually picked up a skull and showed it on my live stream. There was a dead body found in Pokai Bay. Billionaire drove in, drove out right away. Rep Norca showed up from the Kapuna Council. He was there, so I have to do a hand clap for all of you guys for actually coming up here. But in reality, when we're talking offline, these are representatives. We have Senator Samantha DeWart here. If you guys know how the legislature works, the senator has unlimited bill writing abilities, but the people on the stage can only write 10 bills. I graduated from the Air Force. I was trained in 25 years ago, in 2000. That means they got 10 missiles they can all fire. So everyone chooses a topic. Chris already wrote HB 43, human trafficking, drug smuggling, great. Elijah Peck wrote capital punishment, fantastic. Great. David Alcos did some stuff. Rep Shimizu, you know, federal elections. You guys all choose 10. That's 80 shots we got. And to be honest with you, unless you get a D next to the name, like Darius Keela, we got to use the D, the Democrats, the donkeys, write them like Shrek so we can get stuff done, working together, bringing unity to the community. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments. So we're going to allow our reps to respond to those comments that we've received so far.
Thank you, Pikachu. I'm going to go back to the previous question from by the way, Patty is a former Hawaiian Homes Commissioner, so thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for your service on the Hawaiian Homes Commission. Yes, you're right. There is a project, actually in District 39, actually, next to the Humane Society, 19 acres, Hawaiian homelands, land swap, and I've heard lots of people complaining about that because there are a lot of people who feel that every opportunity that Hawaiian homelands has with land ought to be going to eliminating the wait list. That's the mission of Hawaiian Homelands, is to clear the wait list, which is right now 29,000 Hawaiians, pushing 30,000, waiting and dying on that wait list. So I understand that frustration. I'm hoping my colleagues are aware of what's happening out there as well. But we'll be definitely holding the department account into ensuring that every single opportunity they have with land swaps is going towards not just commercial development, but fulfilling the act by eliminating the Hawaiian Homes wait list. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rep. Garcia. Rep. Muraoka and then Rep. Marcos.
I just wanted to get ahead of the news, and he was right. There was some remains found. Earlier as we were here, we got an email from Shelby. They do believe it's kupuna iwi. So I just wanted to get ahead of the news, and coming from Waianae, representing Waianae, we get so much negative publicity. I don't want it to get twisted that this was some type of crime or anything. So yeah.
I want to address what Patty said about our infrastructures as well. I was a football coach at Campbell High School. We had 300 kids come out to tryouts, maybe even 350. 200 of them get cut. Nowhere place to go. We got to create another division. But our school is overcrowded. Now, Opili is building a new high school. But by the time Opili is developed, those extra kids is going to come back to Campbell High School. And yet we don't even have enough room already. We should be thinking 20, 25 years ahead instead of reacting 20 years later. Our state has not developed the infrastructure, the roads for our community to get to and from and for our kids. I think that our state had neglected our families, and we need to put more money back into our communities, especially the ones are overcrowded. From the time when I was in school, Ever Beach had grown at least 12 times the size. And our school is only one high school still we got. So I think that, we still have to continue to fight on that, and we appreciate your concerns. Thank you.
And then just one last point, sorry. One last point to finish up the second part of your question about DOI and federal regulation over Hawaiian homes. Yes, our president is a Republican, and we're glad to work with the federal administration at this time. Just 2 months ago, we were up in DC, and we met with DOI, and they've committed to actually come down to Hawaii to have conversations with us to ensure that oversight does occur with the Department of Hawaiian Homeland. So that ball is rolling, and we look forward to working with you and seeing that come into fulfillment.
Thank you, Rep. Garcia. We're having really robust discussion, so that's a perfect segue to the final topic tonight, and that's government reform. The majority of you want to finish with government reform, but we'll still have an open section where you can have Q&A on things that weren't covered. So we're going to pull up the next question regarding government reform while we take the 2 comments from the audience, Kelly and then John.
Okay, the beginning of government is elections. When is any elected official that has the power to do it going to get rid of the criminal Scott Nego in the office of elections and give good people a chance to get into office and grow the Republican Party and other parties and let the voice of the people be heard? Scott Nego needs to be in jail. He's violated hundreds of election laws, and he just skates scot-free, and nobody seems to care. Nobody says nothing, nobody stops him, nobody stands up to him. He's got to go.
So one of the things that's really interesting is I've been able to talk with many state legislatures across the country, and we are one of, if not the only state that does not have an elected Secretary of State. Scott Nago is a person that is appointed there. It's like he's hired, and so it's different when you can elect your Secretary of State. So one of the bills that we put in is that we have an elected Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State runs elections. So that's something that is really interesting when we come to the government reform. Additionally, almost every other state elects their Attorney General. Ours is appointed by our governor. Other states have elected school boards. We have one Board of Education. nobody's elected, they're all appointed by the governor. So something that our caucus has been working on is to have that government transparency where we do have those elected officials that are statewide, like your Secretary of State, your Attorney General, as well as having elected school boards. And I think that's a way where there's those checks and balances where you don't get stuck with somebody there for 15 plus years and there's no checks and balances and accountability for their performance.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Dix. I was in a elections commission meeting the other day, which ran like 3 hours.
So 1 o'clock.
But there was a permitted interactive group, excuse me, permitted interaction group. And what this interaction group does is investigate certain concerns that they have. So in this last meeting, this permitted interactive group did a study and they did a report, and they did come out and say that they did find some very troubling information. They did make a motion that the state hired an independent third-party auditor to audit the results. It was passed. So I am committed. I said earlier that homelessness is on the top of my list. Election integrity is also right up there. I am committed, as is our caucus, and Garcia was on the meeting. Senator Alba was also on the meeting. I think you were at the meeting too, Mr. Dix. We are committed to pursue that justice is pursued and answers. We will get answers to these questions. So I'm committed to that. Thank you for bringing that up. Election integrity is going to happen.
Thank you, Representative. And look at how we ranked the following government reform measures by priority. Term limits was number 1. Reducing the power of legislative committee chairs. That's an internal rulemaking. Year-round legislation in third place. Or rather tied almost with campaign spending reforms, and finally fiscal notes. So we're going to drill in a little bit further on government reform with this next question popping up, and we'll take the comment in the back.
Yeah, real quick, I want to comment on kind of piggyback off of what Rep. Alcos was saying about being a coach. I coach currently right now with the Evan Beach Hammerheads. We also work a lot with some coaches at Campbell. But the unfortunate part of what I do is also seeing kids having to not be able to go out and play for the financial backing behind it, because we don't have helmets to give these kids. We don't have the necessary things to set for these kids.
How much do you trust the state government? It's getting lower.
I've heard a lot of discussion here about roads and everything else. Not much,
0
like
to
you
10,
said,
3.3.
look at 20, 25 years ahead. So what are we doing to keep our keiki here for the next 20, 25 years, and not them say, hey, I'm out? Because the 14-year-olds that I'm coaching now are looking like, hey, I'm doing what I gotta do, I'm going, I'm leaving this island because there's nothing here for me. Because this place is corrupt, there's nothing going on for me, so they don't see a vision. We're trying to, as coaches, we're trying to push that into them. But right up here on our field, right up here at Geiger Park, which 10 years ago, I coached my oldest son there. Green grass, didn't have holes all in it. Now we have cones all over the place. So kids, hey, don't run in this hole here. There's a dust bowl out there. Literally, my son just came from practice. Normally I'm there with him, but came here for this tonight. He's covered in dust and dirt. Like, just from practice alone over. We have no water out there. We don't have any kind of. So it's like we're saying to these kids, hey, we're here to help you, want to help, but it's like, the proof is in the pudding, and they're like, yeah, I hear you, coach, but I don't see it. So what are we really doing? I know we sit down and have all these meetings, we have all these different things, all these bills get passed, but what are we doing when we come and say, hey, we need help? That's what we said, we need help, we need these kind of things done. We're not utilizing, again, going to resources, we're not utilizing even local resources, I've asked, hey, can the fire department do training, come out there and spray the field twice a week? They're like, no, they're sitting there doing nothing. We can go out and do training like this, but we're not getting any responses from anybody.
Thank you for the questions and comments.
City Council.
I feel your pain. I sincerely do. I also coach. In fact, we just took a team from the whole islands back in January up to the mainland and wiped them all out. Came back with the championship. But out in Waianae, the 96792 faces the same challenges. From Kahi Point to Kayana Point, we have one sanctioned park. Excuse my language, but it pisses me off when I bring this action up, or I bring this question up.
The city council.
Quite frankly, I get irritated down to my core. And I've been quiet tonight because I've been told I'm a bit, strict. But it pisses me off because we bring these actions up, and the number one answer I get, oh, that's a city thing. Oh, that's a state thing. It's disgusting because the city and the state don't discriminate when they take our taxes. They don't do nothing for us. We need more people like you folks, all of you guys sitting out here voicing those opinions. Because out in Waianae, Maui Beach Park, one of the nicest beach parks on the state, is decimated. There's no grass. The kids don't deserve to be practicing in the dirt, because guess what? On a rainy day, practice is canceled. So you're right, we need to continue fighting. How do we want to teach our kids the right way, good values, stay away from crime, stay away from drugs, come play sports, but we don't have the facilities for them? You're 100% right. I would be glad to work with you as well as my colleagues here on how we can fix that. My office, staff is all here. I'd be more than willing to show you guys the emails. I am not afraid. When I send emails, I send nasty emails. I use vulgarities. But that's the only way I've been able to get responses. We need more voices out there to help fight. You know, one of the benefits of being a Republican is we all have independent thinking, but our goals are usually all the same. So let's get out all together and fight. There's so much things going on, and it starts with us. It starts with us. Every one of us on this stage, every one of us in here. Thanks for that comment.
Go ahead,
Just to address some of your concern that you have, it's Ever Beach, it's the whole west side. I feel it's neglected, not just by the city, but also by the state. If you look other places and just go a little bit to Pro City and beyond, it's much more nicer, much more greener, much well maintained. But when you come to the west side, from Ever Beach back, these people are neglecting of what we should be getting deserved for our kikis and our kids. And our kids is the one that suffer. When I see my grandson is out there tackling somebody falling on dirt, not grass, they're being left behind. Or that high school kid that cannot get into college or cannot get into some organized sports. We are left behind. And the family is affected by that. Mental health issues go up higher. We as a state and as a city should really focus the needs for our children and our future for them. So thank you so much.
Thank you, And I just want to address that question that we had. The trust level for our state government was at a 3.3 based on all of your participation. So our final question with the mentee is going to be, do you feel adequately informed on how to vote on bills? How our legislators vote on bills, how to testify, how to submit testimony, etc. We want to know if you are adequately informed. We're going to go to a comment with John, and then we're actually going to close the evening's program with about 5 minutes or so of question and answers for maybe some of those topics that we haven't yet discussed. Go ahead, John.
Hi, thank you again, Representative. I just wanted to comment on what the gentleman brought up about how terrible our parks are. It is really bad. From Ever Beach all the way to Ke'alohula, which is past Macau. Horrible, horrible fields. But what I want to inform your representatives, Herrick, Oda, and Garcia, is that should a DHHL project goes through, where I spoke earlier about, there's called a community benefit package. Did you know that that community benefit package, so that commercial site goes through, the community benefit package will not come to Ever Beach. It's going to go to Kapolei. So you three should make sure that if any DHHL development comes in your community, that the community benefit package comes back to Ever Beach so they can have funding to fix our parks, they can have funding to have e-bikes education, they can have funding for weed and seed programs in your community. Do not oversight and trust this, because that funding will go to Kapolei, Department of Hawaiian Homelands, and all the organizations out there in Kapolei. So don't miss out. They can have funding out here for Eva Beach for any kind of improvements. So I just wanted to add that in and just let you know that's what's going on. It's really important of the community benefit package that the developer provides to your community. Fixing infrastructure, money for your schools. Kamakana Ali'i pays $175,000 to four Hawaiian homesteads in Kapolei yearly. That's the community benefit package, gang. So if we don't know, we won't get. So we need to know and speak up for Eva Beach that these community benefit packages, you're a developer, it's time for see back in this community. We need to fix our fields. We need to fix a lot of things out here in Eva Beach. And that's the only way, by getting these developers noted that they're going to develop, well, give back to our community, because we all need these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty, for bringing that up. Because that location that you're talking about is not in District 40, I'm going to assume that's why they didn't inform me. So the area you're talking about, Pacific Tsunami Warning Center with the new housing bill, that is in District 40. So they have given me notice on that, which means that my office manager is here sitting. I'm going to make contact with them and ask them for information on it. Thank you.
Okay, we want to remedy the fact that nearly 66% of you don't feel adequately informed on how to get involved in the legislative process. So our staff is going to be passing around at this time a flyer for you to take home, and it's our one-stop shop with highhousegop.com, information on how to submit testimony, how to get involved with measure tracking, subscribe to hearing notifications, and we want all of this, all of the iki that we received here, we want it to go to January's legislative session. We invite you on the third Wednesday of January for our opening ceremonies. That's open to the public. We're going to get a couple of more Q&As back and forth with our reps while our staff passes out that information. Reps, did we want to respond? Any more? I apologize, I thought I saw any hands.
I want a question from Chris, Chiefs. Anybody, anything that you guys have concern? Never heard you guys. I know you wanted to have some question. John, you wanted to say something? Come on, boss.
Hey, good evening. My name is Chris. I'm Representative Apko's favorite nephew. No, so you know, I like coming to these things, but I do want to switch gears very quickly back to the criminal topic, and something that I do 9 to 5 on the Fed side and a lot of partners on the PD side, right? And so a lot of people talk about child sexual exploitation or keiki and whatnot, okay? But not a lot of people know that the pipeline that feeds that is teen runaways, and I want to talk about that topic very quickly right now. If you didn't know, there's 5 facilities that have juvenile treatment, and I'll name them so you folks can go look it up and do something about it. Bobby Benson, Kahuku, Pro Haven, Haleiwa, Halekipa, Eva Beach, we talked about this once, right? Kakemohala, Eva, and Rice, Kailua, right? And these facilities, they got the kids running away from these facilities. So I need you folks to touch base with these facilities and ask them, are you adequately resourced? That's one, okay? Number 2 is, if you can, and we know the HPD issue about the shortage in manning, but the HPD's juvenile services section, they're the only ones allowed to retrieve runaways, okay? And they are short. And I was told that they're not even allowed in districts 2, 3, and 4 to retrieve, okay? All the other districts have dedicated juvenile services to retrieve these runaways, okay? And then finally, the Missing Child Center of Hawaii, 2 people run that. There's 2 people, 2 nice ladies that look for every single missing teen in the state of Hawaii. Can you believe that? 2 people, okay? Please touch base with their office, see what sort of resources they need and what kind of funding they need, okay? Because they can intake all the missing kids, but the HPD has to go get them. And like I mentioned earlier, juvenile services is short, okay? So, in closing, Missing Child Hawaii Center, 2 people, short juvenile services HPD, and then those listed juvenile treatment facilities. If they're in your district, please touch base with them. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Go ahead, Bethany.
Thank you, David Elko's favorite nephew. I think, David, that's what you talk to us about every day, yeah? But, you know, appreciate your help, appreciate your efforts. I do want to reach out. I'll come talk to you after this is over, because one of those nonprofits you talked about, we're currently fighting right now to stop them from coming into our community because of stuff like that, understaffed, unable to do what they're actually doing. But, you know, one thing that you said that just polarizes what our state does, what our inefficient government here in Hawaii does, is they put two nice ladies to look for all of these missing things. And I cannot help but feel that's by design. Our governor and his people below him, like one of my colleagues had said earlier, all his appointees, not voted, all his appointees, they pick and they choose what they want to do. And I'll give you a perfect example. Did that graffiti on the stadium hurt anybody? But overnight, the next day, effort, resources, and money went up there to paint over it. Right? We cannot find runaway trafficked youth, but we can go find somebody who had hurt one seal on a beach. It sounds funny, but it's the truth. Go look up, go look at it. Somebody got hurt one seal. Oh, we're going to expend all of these efforts, but we get two nice ladies to look for all of these kids. It's just the choices that's being made by our leaders. And it sucks.
Thank you, Rev. We're going to do a comment in the audience.
Hello again. So I want to go slow here to Pikachu Shelby Billionaire. I want to talk about Brother Joe Gideon from Hawaii Kai. We used to talk with Gene Ward when he was still with us. And he made a movie called Broken Promises 1 and 2. Maysana from Diamond Garcia's office. We have this movie. And with Mr. Peter Savio, who's still here, so I want him to get on the mic because he has a solution. What he told us back then was through HUD funding, you can use the DHHL to use the HUD funding, Section 8, to pay for all your leases. And we just talked offline now to confirm that they, as a developer, they can make their own lease with the paperwork. So I want to pass the solutions to Mr. Peter Savio so he can address the crowd.
I managed to go the whole evening without saying anything, which for me is an achievement. On Hawaiian Homes will always fail. It will fail because they use a homestead type lease. It's not a typical land lease. It does not give value to a Native Hawaiian family. It steals their value. They're basically sharecroppers. They have no value. All they have to do is modernize the lease. When we became a state, the federal government came out and told all of our land estates, you got to modernize your land lease. All of the estates modernized. Only one did not, Hawaiian Homes. Hawaiian Homes will continue to fail because they're using an old, archaic lease that does not give value. If they change that lease, every Native Hawaiian family will have the same rights the Bishop Estate lessees had, Lilio Kalani, all of them had, and our Native Hawaiians will become millionaires overnight. Now they can go out and borrow the money to build the house and renovate the house, start a business, do what they want to do. We have taken advantage of the Hawaiian community. Two other things I want to mention, just because I'm here and here on housing. A lot of the problems you're talking about can be solved if we solve our housing crisis. Trust me, the housing crisis is the solution to almost every problem we have. But there's two things we don't understand about real estate. One, you buy real estate because you lock in a monthly payment for 30 years. You lock in the cost of living. We think we buy real estate for appreciation. No, we want to lock in the payment. The other thing is rental housing is evil. It steals the tenant's value and gives all of that wealth to the mainland building owner. Yet what is our state and city doing? They're putting in 12,000, 15,000 rental units. Every day you're reading about a new rental project being approved. What they're telling you is, we're going to steal more money from Hawaii. We're going to steal from the Native Hawaiian community. We're going to take advantage of our workers. Our government, as it now stands, the Democratic Party, is evil. They're stealing your values, and they don't get it.
So I actually have to cut the program, unfortunately. I want to invite all of you to come tomorrow. We're going to be at Ohana Elementary to continue.
The smart man. All because what's broken. Gene Ward, that's for you. I know you're watching us from heaven. Shout out to your boy, Rick. You nailed it.
But we want to mahalo each of you. I'm going to leave our reps for our hosting tabs and closing comments, but before we do that, we want to make sure that you know how appreciated you are. Your voices were all heard, and that data is going to be translated into the construction of the legislative package that these reps will be putting forth in January. We want to make sure that you grab pizza on your way out, so you get a parting gift, and please pick up one of the flyers that has all of the information of the reps. The reps will continue to be in the room to talk story with you folks. So mahalo for coming, and we'd like to leave our hosting reps with the closing remarks.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for being here tonight. This is what a democracy or a constitutional republic looks like. It's the people telling us what to do because we work for you. So on behalf of our Hawaii House Republican Caucus, thank you so much for being here tonight. Come talk to us afterwards and let's stay in touch because we want to make sure that our caucus package this coming session is a reflection of what you want for this state. So again, God bless. Thank you for coming. Good night.
I also want to say thank you guys for coming. We do have some refreshments, some drinks, maybe some donuts. I just want to say thank you, Jessica, for bringing some donuts. Really appreciate it. Domino's Pizza brought some pizzas and Alan cooked some soup. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys all for coming here. Guys, want to say
thank you all for coming. For those of you who live in District 39, you guys are my boss, and I'm your employee. So thank you for letting me talk to you guys.
Thank you guys for coming, and please stay engaged, not only in government, but with us. Thank you.
Aloha.
Alright, so we gotta play Fanboy. We got Mr. Garcia, awesome job today. You love Peter Savio. I'm inspired by him on that office when we saw the movie, and we know we can work it out together. What's it called?
Hawaii's Housing.
Hawaii Housing. He actually came, hallelujah, and broke that stuff down for all of us live. Chihu, Lauren, Elijah talking on stage. Chris is right here. Great job. He came out today. Yeah, you. Boom. Everyone's going to be talking story. We're going to film some after footage. Before it was only the three of us. It was Peter Savio, Pikachu, and Patty. We're still live. Yeah.
We're still live? Okay, so we can go back and watch it.
Yeah, on my Facebook. Keep joking on me. Give your phone. It's just easier you give me your phone. See if it's true. Here we're live with Auntie to see if it still works. So we're live streaming now. So right here, you can see the footage of me watching the movie. Great job, brother man with the mics. Peter Savio. Oh, I didn't think you was gonna drop those knowledge.
Good brother.
We have a way to finance it all. We're not paying. We're gonna make them pay for it all. Nice to see you. Pleasure. Yeah. There's the man of the hour. Before it was only three of us. It was Peter Savio, Patty, and me. And now look, we're dropping knowledge bombs. Look what you inspired. Hey, it started with the three of us. I was eating pizza. Patty shows up. Peter Savio, he's trying to be quiet. I love you. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Republicans talking on the side. Look at this handsome man. Everyone dropping it. I'm glad Peter Savio said all this. I wasn't going to let this guy run away without saying something.
You know what? We did introduce a bill on the DHHL police modernization. Never go anywhere.
Well,
so I guess we can.
Samantha said no to DHHL because they're burning through the money on the HASA funds.
Well,
Well, that was to get more money, yeah. But as far as what Peter Savio said about the lease modernization,
Section 8, everyone would qualify,
we did
but because of the outdated leases, they can't write it up because the developers can write a brand new lease.
Well, we did introduce a bill in this past session to do that modernization, and it didn't go anywhere.
Well, maybe we all complain again. Cash flow, baby. Cash flow's king. Follow us online. Hey. So we're gonna show Domino's Pizza. All right. Come get some pizza. Take the box home because we kids take the whole box. Feed the family. Take the box. Feed the family. Yeah, take the whole box. Take the whole box. Take the whole box. Feed the family. Feed the kids. Yes, young ones. Feed the family. Feed the kids. Take some donuts for tomorrow. Yeah. No, Domino's sponsored, so take one for the home, save the family, put it in the oven. I want to take this one too. I'm going to join the club. Take some pizza home. We got mushroom pizza. Pikachu, going to take some pizza. Take some pizza home. Take in a box. And why? Elijah talking store, everybody here. So, Carl, how do you feel coming all the way to listen to Wahiwa? You had the Nililani thing, which is Lauren Matsumoto. Did you say hi to your rep over there? Lauren Matsumoto? Because we got the luncheon on Saturday, the brunch. 9 o'clock. She avoids Pikachu's glasses and looks the other way. They're calling you Mr. Dix. They're acknowledging you. We're out now, right? And he's not alone anymore. You should have seen how many cops showed up. 4 or 5 rolling in. Because the skull, right? We didn't do it till after the fact. Then you got like Baywatch, all them buggies, 8 of them rolling. Like, what the fuck? Because they know I know Chief Vanek. They know I'm Gary. Hey, we're going to see you on Saturday for the brunch lunch. Yeah. Excellent. So we're still on live stream. What are your honest thoughts? So you can see. Let's do it. Put my glasses back on. All right. We got a guy running for governor. Okay, we got Gary Porter. We're looking young, shaven. All right. Actually, so what are your honest thoughts? You know, to me, I'm not a Republican. He's a chairman for American Party. Elon Musk is on the chairman. I'm pro-Hawaii. How's that? Great. Love it. We could use your signature. He's running for governor. But what can you tell the people? What are your honest thoughts? The Republicans haven't passed a single bill in Capitol Hill. We can blame Josh Green. But what can you tell the public?
Well, I think the issue is public involvement. Like the people, you need to get involved.
Active participation.
The people need to come out of the stands and be engaged in the process. We're just sitting back. People are just sitting back, and they're being dictated to. Their lives are being gleaned by the Democratic administration here. So it is time for the people to get involved in the process. We have what we have. It's not an accident.
We're getting a preview for Saturday since you're a preacher as well, pastor. Can you give us a sample of what people can expect for the brunch?
You know, I think I've been thinking about that. I'm really not a textbook guy. I don't write out speeches.
Well, you did your speech by Kamehameha. You're going to be a lot of Velas, bro.
Yeah, I know. I have some thoughts. So I have thoughts, right? So really, we're going to talk about the beauty and the strength of Hawaii, its people. We're going to talk about unity. We're going to draw some comparisons, and we're going to try to speak life. So
I definitely feel like you need like a united front, like I mentioned. You're great questions because you're asking specific questions. You know, you're in the Republican Party. I'm dealing with people who don't even vote.
Listen, I have a great deal of information. It's just hard to hold it back. I'm telling you, there is so much.
All 3 of us
that could speak to this conversation tonight in an authentic way to transform the state. So what we need is policymakers who have courage, cut through the crowd. So let us stand together. Let us speak with clarity and courage. And don't give up. Don't check out. Get involved. Sweet. Join the movement. Gary Porter for governor.
And when is your radio show? So you can get your radio
The Freedom Hour. Thank you. Freedom Hour every Saturday morning. KHVH AM 830. the Freedom Hour, the Rick Hamada Show. It's awesome. We're going to be talking about the Elections Commission's meeting this Saturday.
Oh, corruption.
Corruption. It's all about corruption. Hawaii is plagued with corruption.
We were on there, you know, from what, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Yeah. Oh my God, it was so long.
Yeah, that's right. All right, mahalos.
So thanks for shout out. We'll be waiting in line. Say hello to Elijah. Just walk right out of the way.
All right.
We got Elijah waiting for Kyle right here. I got us a pizza for the road.
Oh, they got a video tape?
We're live now. Yeah. He's on Instagram more. When he came in late running on the beach, oh, you look like a shrimp with your red face, pale skin, and beach shorts.
What were the most pressing issues?
So there's a survey about the crime, public safety, cost of living was number 1, and 3 is like traffic. You know, but then everyone has Q&A questions, and you know, we talk about office of elections. Some people mention human trafficking and smuggling. We're talking with Peter Salvio because there's a way to restriction unfunded for the BTC Wallet finance at all. To solve the housing crisis, to solve all the poverty issues.
What about the spiritual faith issues?
They only say a prayer in the end.
Well, they didn't talk about anything about
And then the shooting of the Catholics, so they're not.
they
All those properties. They don't get taxes. They've got the charities. It's the same with the Catholic Church. They don't pay taxes.
churches don't.
They're the number 1 in the world. Yeah, so they don't touch it.
Yeah, they're taxing them.
Exactly. So we're gonna get a couple more videos to closing out now for the school. Give them some space. Sheila talking story right there.
But when you start, you can't get done.
Patty and Garner talking story. Simon doing this thing. Maysana doing the thing with the OGs. You want a pizza for the family? Processed cheese? You want pizza for the road?
Yeah, he does. Get him one.
No, I gotta mix them. Hold on.
So that's a pizza?
Yeah.
They get, huh? They get pepperoni.
Pizza, come get while it's last. Come get some pizza, take the box home. Put some donuts in there for tomorrow's coffee and tea. I'm going to the... I know a place to sleep. No, wait. If I had a place to crash, yeah. Yeah, Carl to drive me home.
He did?
Shout out to Augie T. He's doing a comedy show tomorrow at the Vet Center, right?
Yeah, shout out for you, Augie. We're going to be there. Woohoo! Get a good laugh. I need a good laugh.
It's pretty funny.
It's insane.
Now we're keeping legit now. Look what we did. Peter Salvi didn't want to talk, but we got him to speak, and he dropped some truth bombs. What? God told me I got to say something. Yeah. So we have a diabetes roll right here. You guys don't care. You can send this to any police station. They will love you. You won't get a ticket, it's a guarantee. Drop this off. Chief of Police Roddy Vanek loves donuts. I just add some whipped cream, some coffee or something, right? Whipped cream, ice cream. Kahlua Baileys. Hell yeah. I have a mom too. They're all gonna love this in the dip. We'll wrap things up. Take a whole pie. Joe, take a whole pie with you. This is cheese.
My wife will hate me.
Take the whole pie. Take the whole pie. Take the kids for the family. Pepperoni.
That's crazy. So that's what we were talking about.
Wow. All kind of troop bombs coming out. But we get fed. Less hungry people, less complaints. Everyone cooking right here. Everyone talking story. Kelly did a great job today. Wrapping things up. David Outpost, everyone talking story. We're gonna have a beach, baby. Yeah, yeah. Hello.